invite you all to join us for this significant moment. Dr. Ajay Kumar's book, AI Nation, Bharat's Path to AI Power, will be officially launched by Mr. Loknath Behra by delivering it to Alphonse Kannandanam and Dr. Saji Kumar.
very distinguished, very distinguished persons who are in the audience and here in the dais. There will be no better time than today to get this uniquely written book by Dr. Ajay Kumar, who is an very reputed Indian Administrative Service officer, and we joined together. I joined the police service, he joined the administration service. He became the defense secretary. Now he's holding the post of chairman of the Union Public Service Commission, which is a constitutional post in India. This book actually deals with the various facets of artificial intelligence. A product of Kanpur IIT, Ajay from the beginning, from his time as a sub-collector in Talassery, when he became the defense secretary, all the time loved technology. And he mixed a lot of administrative governance issues which I, as a user, do not foresee. He has seen it both from technical, legal, and administrative point of view and written this book. And it book actually has different chapters dealing with different subjects. And I can actually announce you this book is going to be translated in Malayalam also. This is being now planned. This is for a larger audience. And Ajay actually has worked in various capacities, and I still remember his great contribution to Palakkad district when he became the district collector there. And of course, he was the IT secretary, did a lot of IT innovations, etc. in the state of Kerala. And he went to Government of India and also did a lot of things as defense secretary in the Ministry of IT, in the Ministry of DST and all those. And I'm sure this book will raise few questions, not only in the minds of the technocrats, but also the mind of the policymakers, the academicians like Dr. Saji and all. What I say is that go through the book. The book will be available only from 28th onwards, online and offline. And I wish all the success of this particular book, which I'm sure is going to be very successful. And thank you, Ajay, for coming all the way from your busy schedule to a small lunch. But it is a very important thing. It is a small step, but a big leap, we can say. And such a book has not come out in India. And I'm sure it will invoke a lot of debate and a lot of deliberation. Thank you. Jai Hind.
So friends, thank you for being here. First of all, let me share with you, I am actually a baby in this field of literature. I mean, this is my first literature festival anywhere, and this is my first book. So I look forward to your support and blessings. It's such a pleasure that this book is launched by two of the people whom I admire the most. In fact, Loknath Behra and Mr. KJ Alphonse, both of whom have had a huge influence on me, either throughout my career, and Loknath particularly for actually inspiring me to write this book. And after my retirement, I have been writing for newspapers, etc. But I never thought of writing a book. It was only when he motivated me and said, why don't you write a book and come up with some of the issues which you have seen, that I wrote this book. I'm extremely thankful, grateful. He's such a dear friend. I mean, we go a long way for 40 years together in the service, but it has been such an inspiring moment for him when he said that you can do it, and then therefore I wrote it. So I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Loknath Behra for having made this journey possible for me. Last thing I want to say is on this book is, please, I mean, this technology of AI is changing so fast. I mean, this is what I wrote in the last 1 year, but it's already, some things are already outdated. And believe me, after 2 years, this book will feel as if it's, we're talking of some historic times, Nalanda times. So, it's current, it's topical, but still moving very fast. And we have tried to take a short-term view, because long-term view is very difficult and possibly extremely scary. So it's a short-term view of what needs to be done in the next 5 years or so, and that's what this book talks about. All of us are going to get impacted. There is no one who's going to get left behind in this AI thing, and therefore I think this is a book which people who are in the policy space, people who are trying to see how our society is changing, they all possibly would find it interesting. Let me stop here, and I think thank you once again, Luca, for your
Yes.
inspiration. Thank you.
Once again, warm good afternoon. It's really warm actually. And I'm so excited, I'm so curious. I'm a student at the same time. We have two esteemed guests here. We have Dr. Ajay Kumar sir. You have heard the introduction. I will just brief. He's the chairman of Union Public Service Commission, UPSC. He was so famous for his initiatives for the Digital India program initiatives in India. So he has contributed a lot for our country. And so KLF is so proud to have Dr. Ajay Kumar sir on the stage. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the session. And now we have Dr. Saji Gopinath sir. You all know that we have a digital university. Kerala has a digital university, and we have the vice chancellor of Kerala Digital University. He has contributed a lot for the digital infrastructure of the state, and also he has served as the dean of Indian Institute of Management. And the profile goes, and I'm not prolonging much about the guests. So we are here. We are on the topic too much easy, too much, too easy, living in an era, living in an age of surplus. See, actually, it takes just 12 minutes for a food delivery, just 2 seconds for an information on ChatGPT or Google Gemini. But still, I think we feel tired, right? See, today's session is not just about technology, AI, all those things. We will discuss technology, AI, digital platforms, everything. But actually, it's about how it's reshaping the human nature, and also what else we can do in this surplus time. See, so first of all, I will be moving the question to Dr. Ajay Kumar sir. See, this session will be kind of a Manglish session, because even though Ajay sir is hailing from Punjab, right, sir? Yes, but he is actually a native of Kerala. He was in Palakkad, and he served for this state also. And we have Saji Gopinath sir also. But നമ്മൾ മലയാളം ഇംഗ്ലീഷും മിക്സ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് സാർ എന്നോട് പറഞ്ഞു യു ആസ്ക് ഇൻ മലയാളം ഓൾസോ നോ ഇഷ്യൂസ് ബിക്കോസ് ഓഡിയൻസിന് കൂടി നമ്മൾക്ക് പരിഗണിച്ചുകൊണ്ട്. സർ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഐ ആം എ ഫൗണ്ടർ ഓഫ് എ സ്കൂൾ and also I'm also contributing, I believe that I'm contributing to the education system and all. See, most of the times, even the mentors, parents, everybody is saying information overloaded. Everybody is using that word. Actually, information is overloaded. And also, is such information is effectively utilized in this era of AI in our country? What do you think, sir?
So, we are actually living in a world of information.
Yes.
And I think when we talk of information overload, it's actually a little understatement. Because, it's not only information but also misinformation.
Yes.
That we are flooded with. Increasingly, it's extremely difficult to differentiate between what is fact and what is fiction. And as a result, what is happening is information overload only means that you are not able to find the relevant thing. But when you are flooded with information and misinformation, deepfakes, it has far more dangerous implications. There was a very famous saying that everyone is entitled to his opinion, but not to his facts. Facts are one. Now that's no more true. I mean, you see this in information warfare when it happens, everyone is pushing out narratives, and people have their own narratives of each incident. The fact is today, everyone is having his own opinion and everyone is having his own facts also. We are losing the meaning of truth because the way human psychology functions is that we tend to stick to people who have similar views. And in that group, which is connected through the technology, we are all echoing the same sentiment and start reinforcing that view. So today what happens is when in my group, I am in my WhatsApp group, in my social media group, I am finding the same thought opinion being repeated, I start thinking this is correct. So many people. Not only that, that view is no more only a small part of your locality. It goes across cities, it goes across states, it goes across countries. So you get this false notion that this view is shared by large number of people, and which is creating this huge problem of people failing to distinguish between what is truth and what is no truth, and that has some serious implications.
Yes, understood, sir. So, coming back to the topic, sir, to Saji sir. Sir, നമ്മളെല്ലാം ഓട്ടോമേറ്റ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഒരു 20 വർഷം മുൻപ് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ വാഷിംഗ് മെഷീൻ, ലിഫ്റ്റ്, എസ്കലേറ്റർ, എവറിത്തിങ്. സി ഈവൻ അക്കാഡമിക് റിസർച്ച് പോലും വി ആർ മൂവിങ് ടു ചാറ്റ് GPT വർക്ക്സ്, റൈറ്റ്? സി ആക്ച്വലി സർ, നമ്മൾ അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ആക്ച്വലി മനുഷ്യരുടെ സമയം സേവ് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയാണല്ലോ ആക്ച്വലി ഇതിൻ്റെ പേർപ്പസ്. Actually, are we actually saving this time, or are we filling this time so faster? അങ്ങനത്തെ സർപ്ലസ് ടൈമും സർപ്ലസ് എനർജിയും അവിടെ ഉണ്ടോ ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ഒരു സിനാരിയോയിൽ?
You want to answer in Malayalam? Okay. Okay. So basically, the technology, not only AI or newer technology, even if you take past technologies, every technology has been brought in to help people.
Yes.
And it actually reduced, in a long run, the drudgery of the people. Now think about the first industrial revolution and mechanization as such. Now how it changed agriculture. People were in the fields from early morning onwards till in the evenings, having such a tedious work. The mechanization has actually helped them.
Yes.
പക്ഷെ ആ സമയം അവർ പിന്നീട് ക്രിയേറ്റീവായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമുക്ക് സർവീസ് ജോബുകളിൽ ഒരുപാട് പേര് വന്നത്. ഒരുപക്ഷെ ഒരു 100-200 കൊല്ലം മുമ്പ് നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഫിസിക്കൽ ജോബ്സ് മാത്രമായിരുന്നു ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നത്. അതിലുള്ള പലർക്കും ഫ്രീ ടൈം കിട്ടിയപ്പോൾ അവർ അവരുടെ മറ്റ് സ്കില്ലുകൾ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങി. ആൻഡ് ദേ ബിക്കം ദി കോഗ്നിറ്റീവ് ജോബ്സിലേക്ക് വന്നു. No, AI is actually now automating the cognitive jobs, like you said. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൻ്റെ ഇന്ന് ചെയ്യുന്ന കോഗ്നിറ്റീവ് ജോബ്സിനെ വളരെയധികം അത് എഫിഷ്യൻ്റ് ആക്കും. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, ഇഫ് യു തിങ്ക് അബൌട്ട് കോഡിംഗ്, ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ഇന്ത്യയിലെ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ആൾക്കാർ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു വർക്കാണല്ലോ കോഡിംഗ് ആൻഡ് ടെസ്റ്റിംഗ്. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, AI has actually increased the productivity almost 40 times, right? Exactly. So which primarily means that your time is actually excess. Yes. Now the question is that how do you actually going to use it? This also relates to your earlier question. Yes. I just have a point on that. See, if you look at teaching, because you spoke about teaching, my model is that if you look at the past, the teacher and the student always have a asymmetry. Teacher has data, student did not have data. Yes. So I'm speaking about normal teachers. I'm not speaking about the real great teachers. Normal teachers in a school, they used to share the data only. Then you have libraries came, you have repositories came where students also can access it. Data will not become easy. Everybody got access to data. Then you have internet. Then people started giving little bit of information there, processed information. Yes. Then you have internet came where processed information is also available. Yes. So then the teachers, real teacher actually started giving the knowledge, which is something which is much more than the information. Then today the knowledge, as you said, is also available. Like Ajay Kumar sir rightly pointed out, there is a lot of information and misinformation. So today's teachers and today's education should look at the wisdom to understand the difference between fake and the real assets. Yes. That is what is to be driven even from the start. If you do that, the surplus time which we create also will be productively used. So the question is that, we used to say, we have a demographic dividend, whether it's become a demographic liability. Same way, the technology brings in free time. It's up to us to see whether this is going to be something which is productive or you are going to laze around and wasting about that. So that is the model which we need to actually start working.
Yes. That means we have a surplus time.
Obviously, because technology anyway will
according
will actually make it simple.
In a Kerala perspective or in an Indian's perspective, how can we actually, with this being so specific, How can we actually use this surplus time, sir?
My feeling is that if you look at India, for example, we have a large number of people who do not have access to things compared to people who have access.
Yes, yes.
It's not like everybody has reached everything. So let's think about education, right? You have a large number of villages in India where still good teachers are not there, or teachers don't have. Now, if the teacher is assisted by an AI, you can actually give the same level of education which is given in another part over there. So in a way, you are actually trying to increase the productivity of those people wherever there is a shortage currently. And see, all these years we were speaking about a world of shortages. We have actually moved to a world of abundance to some extent, not fully, but it's in the world of singularity, it becomes a world of abundance. And that's a world we are not familiar with. Because all the things which we have taught, at least in the modern era, no, not like the earlier speaker was speaking in the case of Nalanda, where he said that no, people did not go for a degrees. That's basically when people were actually having a high level of enlightenment. Today you ask the students, most of them will go for a degrees or a jobs. That world will change when you actually started looking at a world of abundance. People will actually start self-realizing themselves more. And our institutions may have to reposition themselves to do that.
Yes, exactly. Sir, Ajay sir, one thing as Saji Gopinath sir told, see, even though we are saying we have moved a lot we have moved so forward in digital India, see, still there is a disparity there is a division. Those who have access and those who don't have to access, those who don't have an access to these digital things. So how can we solve this?
So, the disparity between the haves and the have-nots.
Yes.
And in this book, I talk about this. There was this famous Thomas Friedman's article and book, which said the world is flat. And he said that with the technology, it is now possible for everyone, the have-nots, to start being part of the haves. And he won Pulitzer Prize. Actually, in this article, I show that actually with the introduction of technology, this divide has only become more steep. I mean, you look at any technology. Look at semiconductors, for example. Most of semiconductor technology comes from one company, TSMC, world over. And in any case, only a handful of companies control it. It was not like this 40 years back. It has become more and more concentrated. You look at internet, all the platforms that we see today, whether it is Google or Facebook or WhatsApp, all controlled by one company. This concentration has again increased. And if you look at AI now, the sad part is it is only going to get further concentrated. What will happen is that people who have data and compute capability will control the AI. I don't know if any one of you remember when Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, which has brought out ChatGPT, was here, and someone asked him, do you see India developing a ChatGPT kind LLM, large language model? And he said, pretty hopeless. And the very patriotic Indian media immediately thrashed him for saying this. But the point is, why did he say pretty hopeless? Because it is genuinely believed that that kind of data and compute India does not have and will not have. What kind of compute does India have now? After the India AI mission, we said we will have 10,000 GPUs. The Honorable Minister in Davos last week said India now has 38,000 GPUs. We are making fast progress. How many GPUs does US have? Over 10 million. We are talking of 1,000, they're talking of crores. So there is a huge difference. So the point I was making, coming back to the original point, this concentration is going to become even more acute. And that is why, I talk of policies that will have to be taken. Unless the governance models for AI are appropriately chosen, we will see few countries and few companies. I remember less than 3 or 4 years back, the first company ever to reach 1 trillion valuation was Apple, only few years back. Today, number of companies are 4 trillion. 4 trillion. Size of India, we call ourselves third, fourth largest economy. There are companies who have become so big that they are having 4 trillion valuation and they control power. How many of us will feel handicapped if WhatsApp stops today or Google stops today? And these are private companies.
Yes.
It can actually create havoc in our life. Now, what does it mean? They are offering public goods to people, but people are thinking they're public goods. They're not. They are private goods. Google can easily change the search results and promote a company which they want, which may not be in your interest. So the point is, what is happening is that with these private entities becoming extremely powerful, it has tremendous influence in each one of our lives. The way they can, what can be projected to you, what can be told to you, what you learn. And that is where I think the problem of haves and have-nots is getting steeper.
Yes.
And if you permit, I'd like to read a passage of this from my book.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
So I'll just read a passage from my book which I brought here. And I'm glad you asked this question. Let me see if I have this. Thomas Friedman's message was simple and inspiring. Technology had opened doors for everyone. Countries that invested in skills, education, and innovation could stand shoulder to shoulder with the richest nations. For developing countries, this sounded like once in a generation chance to compete on equal terms with advanced economies. But the reality that has unfolded since then is almost the opposite. The ICT world today is not flat, it is sharply uneven. In an AI world, competition is not just difficult, it is structurally impossible. AI companies are not only as good as the data they feed their models, and the gulf between the data rich and the data poor is widening at breathtaking speed. That is why the playing field in AI is even more tilted than in the traditional ICTs.
Clear, sir. See, sir, ഈ ഒരു വെന്യൂലും നമ്മൾ സംസാരിക്കുന്ന we are talking about Apple, we are talking about Meta, we are talking about Google. See, sir, you have worked for 3 years as the CEO of Kerala Startup Mission, and you also contributed, നന്നായിട്ട് contribute ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റത്തിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്, അജയ് കുമാർ സാർ ഓൾസോ. ബട്ട് സർ, ഇപ്പോഴും വെൻ വി ആർ ടോക്കിംഗ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്സ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇപ്പോഴും ഈവൻ വി ഹാവ് ഫ്യൂ ചീപ്പ് ലേബേഴ്സിനെ വെച്ചുകൊണ്ടുള്ള കുറേ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്സ് ആണ് ഇപ്പോഴും ആക്ച്വലി സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. മേ ബി ഡെലിവറി സിസ്റ്റംസ്, സം ക്ലോത്തിങ് ബ്രാൻഡ്സ്, സം ഫാഷൻ ബ്രാൻഡ്സ്. ആക്ച്വലി എൻഡ് ഓഫ് ദ ഡേ അവിടെ പ്രൊഡക്ടിവിറ്റി ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയല്ലേ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഫോർ ഫ്യൂ പീപ്പിൾ, ആക്ച്വലി സം പീപ്പിൾ ആർ സ്പെൻഡിങ് their physical time or skills for that, right? അപ്പോൾ എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ നിന്നും, വൈ ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നമുക്കൊരു മെറ്റ ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്തത്? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് എക്കോസിസ്റ്റത്തിന് വൈ കാൻ വി ക്രിയേറ്റ് എ ഗൂഗിൾ ഫ്രം ഹിയർ? വൈ സ്റ്റിൽ അവർ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് സിസ്റ്റംസ് ആർ ഫോക്കസിങ് ഓൺ ഓൾ ദീസ് ചീപ്പ് ഡെലിവറി ഓർ മേ ബി ചീപ്പ് ലേബർ കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് തിങ്സ്?
I will answer to that, but we should also remember that we created UPI.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
that
yes,
is that
the
is
man
actually,
behind it.
yeah,
Yes.
that is something which we should be really proud of,
Yes,
because
that-
the world's most lowest cost what you call financial transaction system
transaction, yes.
at a fraction of a cost
Yes.
which other part of the world is doing.
Exactly.
So in fact, Ajay Kumar sir, what he said, maybe we need also start looking at how do we innovate within that. It's actually a real challenge. Today's model is highly resource crazy, highly resource centric, etc. Within that, how do you come out with innovative models is something which I think youngsters should think. Now come back to your point. If you look at biggest challenge of India is we don't have investors who actually bet on such long run technological things. We are so proud saying that we are the third largest startup ecosystem.
Yes.
But there is another called Startup Blink, which actually look the impact startups ranking. We are 23rd or 24th, much lower than many of the much smaller countries. The reason is today's startup ecosystem is funded by VCs who actually look at how do they gain in a short run. So they actually look at top line models. which is actually, like you said, the imitation of something which other people have done. Deep tech startups are not necessarily fun. In fact, when Dr. Ajay Kumar was the defense secretary, he has actually introduced a model to help startups to provide solutions for the defense. But we don't have too much of such models around us. Now, that is a big challenge that we don't have, but there is a saving grace. The saving grace is the first generation startup entrepreneurs from India, Sohos of the world.
Yes.
These people are now investing in good startups. They are not VCs in a true sense. They have actually made money and they actually started looking at right ideas and doing it. So I don't think creating a meta or creating a product in a long run is impossible for us. We have some fantastic startups. Delivery, for example, the type of a solution which they are providing is really great. It's a product startup.
Yes.
So you have such startups around in India, but you don't have that number which has really gone into the global level. Soho could be one of them, but other than that, you don't have too many which has gone.
Yes.
But when the ecosystem matures and started providing support, that problem I think will be solved.
So, as you are part of UPSC and also uh, you have made a lot of decisions regarding the national development and all. See, in the governance also, we have a lot of digital transformation happen. Uh, do you think the digital transformation actually created a kind of lack of empathy or between the bureaucrats or maybe if you have, see we have Loknath Behra sir here. അപ്പോൾ സാറൊക്കെ സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ എവറിത്തിങ് ഇസ് ഡിജിറ്റലൈസ്ഡ് ഫോമിലേക്ക് പോകുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ഹ്യൂമൻ ടച്ച് ഹ്യൂമൻ നാച്ചർ ആക്ച്വലി മിസ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ലേ? ഹൗ ക്യാൻ വി സോൾവ് ദാറ്റ്?
Yeah, in fact, it's a great question actually, you know. But before I go, I must encroach on the previous question because that is an area which is of tremendous personal interest and
Yes,
passion. Why don't we have innovation in this country? Why don't we have a Google or a Facebook or a WhatsApp or whatever in this country? No, I think we must realize that traditionally, and this is my thinking, that we are largely a service economy. We have been doing manufacturing services, we have been doing IT services, we have been doing trading. We have not created products. If you look at, and I'm making a very sweeping generalization, that we do not have any major product made in India. Now, it was all right for some time because there, you know, if you are manufacturing a product, you captured nearly 80-90% of the value. The value of IP was not so much. But in this knowledge economy, that has got inverted. When you buy a product today, the actual material cost is 20-30%. 50-60% of that value is in the knowledge, in the IP. What it means is that unless you create products, you will not be able to grow fast. We talk of Viksit Bharat and we talk of 10% growth. Our growth rate today is 6.5-7%. If we continue to grow at 6.5-7%, we can never be Viksit or become a developed economy. If that is what we understand by Viksit Bharat. So we need to grow at 10%. And unless you innovate, you cannot become Viksit by 2047. And why I say 2047? If you don't become rich by 2047, you will become old as a nation. So therefore, it is imperative for us to innovate. The question is, why don't we do it? In my opinion, I think all our policies, because traditionally we are a service economy, our policies have been tailored towards servicing. Suppose if government has a very big role to promote innovation, first policy which needs to change is, today all government innovation is done only through public sector and not through private sector. Now, public sector is very good, but there are limited number of people. When you open up innovation, which is what we did in defense, and today you see so much of people talking of defense industry in the country. From public sector, we opened it up. As a result, today, the capacity of the whole nation instead of a set of people in the public sector is available to develop something, the national capacity. So first policy is opening up. The second major policy is procurement. World over, government is the biggest actor for promoting innovation, not because government funds innovation, but because it buys innovation. In India, it is impossible for any bureaucrat like me to buy innovation. Because the moment he says, I need 3 people, 3 bids, if government has to do procurement, and 3 bids means how does an innovative product bring 3 bids? He cannot. So Indian system of GFR does not allow procurement. And if government is not procuring, how does the people get the confidence to buy that product? So Indian procurement has rarely been, I can tell you stories after stories where beautiful products developed in India were not used, including in defense. We were willing to buy from private sector abroad, and we still are, but we were not willing to buy from a single person who had developed a product from India. So that was the point I'm saying. So I think these 2 major policies, one is opening up and second is willingness to buy from single vendor, are fundamental. Coming to your other point.
The human,
I think
the ultimate
this
purpose is happiness, sir.
Absolutely. And this is a fantastic point, you know. Look, today we are getting, everything is becoming automated. You spoke about how, you know, because of technology, because of AI, things can be done faster. So you have abundance of time. In some ways, people will become redundant, because if Elon Musk is to be believed, everything can be done through robots. Then what will remain is, so everything is done by machines. Everything is done fast, efficiently, and hopefully very cheap also compared to the amount of money and effort we do. So people won't be required to do routine jobs. People won't be required to do manufacturing. People won't be even required to do technology, because technology, AI will provide through intelligent beings. What will people be required to do then? And that is where your question. You know, people will be required to give the human touch.
Yes.
The most important aspect that will remain when technology continues to become pervasive is the human touch. Because everything else that you can get your machine to do everything. They can look after your old parents, for example, because you don't have people looking after them. But that is not human touch. So the human touch will always remain human. And therefore, it will become the most human touch, human concern, empathy, feeling of love. These aspects of human beings will differentiate machines, which will do everything else of the routine jobs. And that is why it becomes more and more important as we go forward. Rare to find,
Actually, are we
but
losing
more
that?
important. No, you won't lose it. I think, in my opinion, you won't lose it, but it will become precious, more precious. Because 90% of your interaction will be with machines.
Yes.
What will remain with humans will be these human feelings, which you will want,
Yes.
but you won't get easily, because half the time you will be surrendered to machines who will be doing stuff for you. And that is where it will become extremely important to have those feelings.
Yes. See, actually, നമ്മുടെ ടോപ്പിക്കിൽ തന്നെ too much എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ in an office we are using all this AI, technology, automation, all those things. Actually, സാറ് പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ the surplus time should be actually spent for humans actually. നമ്മുടെ ഫാമിലിക്ക് കൂടുതൽ സമയം കൊടുക്കണം, to the community actually. See, yesterday it was International Education Day. But in international education എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴും most of the articles we read that we should give our students technology, digital things. But aren't we lacking this human touch in education also? See, even the WHO is saying that 10 essential life skills are there actually. Self-awareness, empathy, coping up with stress, emotions. We are lacking such an education that side. And we are promoting digital education, maybe transformation, everything that side. See, even sir is the Vice Chancellor of Digital University. Actually, that human part is missing though, right? No. How can we solve this?
ഡിജിറ്റൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ കേസ് എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ എവറി സ്റ്റുഡൻറ് ഹു കംസ് വി ആക്ച്വലി പുട്ട് ദം ടു സംതിങ് കോൾഡ് ഡിജിറ്റൽ access for community empowerment, where they actually go and spend with people who are not as privileged as them as far as digital technologies are concerned. It could be in slums, it could be in different guard sections, could be in coastal areas where there is an access is a challenge, and they study them, develop solutions along with them, and in the process they learn. So that is something which we are taking on that. But I have a difference of opinion in what you said. That is, see, people are already doing. In fact, people do much more than what the previous generation was doing. Today, you buy an item in your home, and you have to see what is wrong in it. In the past, what will you do? You will call the service guy. Today, what will you do? You will go to YouTube and see how that it is getting done, right? ഈ യൂട്യൂബിലെ വീഡിയോ ആരാ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ? എന്തിനാണ് അവർ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയത്? ഈ ഫ്രീ ടൈമിൽ ഇരുന്ന് മനുഷ്യർ മറ്റുള്ളവരെ സഹായിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ വെറുതെ പറയുന്നതാണ് ഈ ഡിജിറ്റൽ വേൾഡിൽ എല്ലാവരും വളരെ സെൽഫിഷ് ആണ്. ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് നോട്ട്, അബ്സല്യൂട്ട്ലി നോട്ട്. Everybody is actually, in fact, young generation is much more sharing. ഇന്നത്തെ പല സൊല്യൂഷൻസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ടുള്ള എങ്ങനെയാണ്? They share with each other. ഒരു ഏർലി കേസിൽ നമുക്ക് ഒരു ഡേറ്റ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കാതിരിക്കാനാണ് നോക്കുന്നത്. ഇന്ന് they will actually put it in a platform. They actually try to share it. അതിന് നെഗറ്റീവ് ഉണ്ടാവാം, പക്ഷേ ഷെയറിംഗ് എക്കോണമി എന്നത്, ആക്സസ് എക്കോണമി എന്നുള്ളത് പാരലായിട്ട് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് വന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇൻഫാക്ട് if you look at even the IT development models in the world is actually leveraging on that. അതായത് പലപ്പോഴും പല ലാർജർ എയോ പല സൊല്യൂഷൻസും ഒക്കെ എടുക്കുന്നത് വോളണ്ടറി വർക്കിനെ എടുത്തിട്ട് അവരെ എൻകാഷ് ചെയ്യാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So there is a strong voluntary work which is happening. People are actually sharing each other. They are actually coming together and doing work. Crowd work is actually happening. അപ്പോൾ ഈ വരുന്ന എക്സസ് ടൈമിനകത്ത് പലരും പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അത് ചിലത് നെഗറ്റീവ് ആവാം, പക്ഷെ ഒരുപാട് പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇന്ന് ഒരു വില്ലേജിലൊരു കുട്ടിക്ക് ഒരു ക്ലാസ് പഠിക്കണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് വെരി ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട്. കാരണം somebody must have created a nice video of that particular topic, right? And why did that person did it? ആ യൂട്യൂബിൽ നിന്ന് കിട്ടുന്ന വരുമാനത്തിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടല്ലല്ലോ. അത് ആവാം, പക്ഷെ അത് ലോങ് റണ്ണിലേ കിട്ടുള്ളൂ. അപ്പൊ ഈ ഒരു ഷെയറിംഗ് മെന്റാലിറ്റി ഇന്നത്തെ സൊല്യൂഷൻ സമൂഹത്തിന് ഓൾറെഡി വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് നമ്മൾ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനിൽ കൂടുതൽ സ്ട്രെസ് ചെയ്യണം. പക്ഷെ അൺഫോർച്ചുനേറ്റ്ലി ഇൻ ദ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ സിസ്റ്റം ഈസ് എക്സാക്ട്ലി ഓപ്പോസിറ്റ്. ദാറ്റ്സ് വാട്ട് ഐ സെഡ്, ഇറ്റ്സ് എ വേൾഡ് ഓഫ് ഷോർട്ടേജസ്. നമ്മൾ ചെറിയ ക്ലാസ്സിലെ കുട്ടികളെ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് എന്താണ്? വേറൊരാളുമായിട്ട് ഒന്ന് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യരുത്, എല്ലാം നമ്മൾ സെൽഫിഷ് ആയിട്ടിരിക്കണം, കോമ്പറ്റീഷൻ ആണ് നമ്മൾ ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഫോഴ്സ്. That is basically because we lived in a world of shortages. When you move from a world of shortages to abundance, we actually started sharing. The moment you share your home to somebody else, Airbnb was born, and you can see the number of the amount of property which become abundant is very easy, right? So ആ ഒരു വേൾഡിലേക്ക് നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ സിസ്റ്റത്തിനെ ഫൈൻ ട്യൂൺ ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. എന്നാൽ മാത്രമേ ഇതൊരു അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവർ ചെയ്യും, പക്ഷേ ഇതൊരു സസ്റ്റൈനബിൾ ആയിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അങ്ങനെയാണ്. പീപ്പിൾ ആക്ച്വലി സ്റ്റാർട്ടഡ് ട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ഈച്ച് അതർ ത്രൂ ദ ടെക്നോളജി. Right?
Yes, important. Sir, adding to this, one more question. What should we teach in schools and colleges that AI, YouTube or ChatGPT can't teach?
I think Ajay Kumar sir has mentioned a very important point at the start. See, I used to make in a lighter vein. If you look at somebody who was very old, when they were when the calculators came, they do in calculators and then they started adding physically. ഒരുപാട് പ്രായമുള്ള ആൾക്കാർ, അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ അവരെ നോക്കി ചിരിക്കുമായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ my advice to children is that if AI gives you a data, you should actually start checking whether from which data it has given. അവിടെയാണ് അതായത് എയുടെ റിസൾട്ട്സ് ഡയറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് എടുക്കുകയല്ല വേണ്ടത്, ഏത് ഡേറ്റയിൽ നിന്നാണ് വന്നത്, ഏത് കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ നിന്ന് വന്നത്. കാരണം ഒരു ഹലൂസിനേഷൻ ഈസ് വൺ സൈഡ്, സെക്കൻഡ് ഈസ് യു ഓൾസോ ഹാവ് എ സ്ട്രോങ് ബയാസ് which is happening, and this bias create a filter bubble which sir has already explained. ഇത് ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്യണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് നമ്മൾ കുട്ടികളോട് പറയേണ്ട ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. തരുന്നത് അതുപോലെ വിഴുങ്ങല്ല വേണ്ടത്, അത് എവിടെ നിന്നാണ് വന്നത്, ഏത് സോഴ്സിൽ നിന്നാണ് വന്നത്. യു ആസ്ക് എ സിമ്പിൾ ക്വസ്റ്റൻ ഓഫ് വേർ ഈസ് എ റെഫറൻസ്, ദാറ്റ് ഇറ്റ്സെൽഫ് വിൽ ടെൽ യു how much authentic that is. So that is something which we need to, at least in the interim, we need to do it. That will actually help them to break the dichotomy between information and misinformation to a large extent.
Okay, sir. Sir, Ajay sir. See, actually technology in India especially, or in Kerala, is it actually made our citizens safe or not safe? We have Loknath Behra sir here telling to the crimes and all. Actually, it has lost our safety, right?
So every technology, new technology, comes with inherent risks.
Yes.
I mean, and you can think of any, when railways were discovered, you could think of all the accidents, or when automobiles were discovered, all the accidents that could happen. When nuclear fission was discovered, you had the atomic bomb which was created.
Yes.
When digital technologies came, the cyber crime came along with it, and today you have millions of cyber crime, people, digital arrests, people losing lots of money, old people being cheated. So there is always this challenge that we see technology is agnostic to how it is being used. There will be, it's a reflection of society. When the technology comes, people will use it good way, and some people will use it in the bad way. Now artificial intelligence has come. Some people are creating deep fakes for purposes which are harmful to society. And I think what happens in each of these technologies is that government or institutions create mechanisms so that the benefit far exceeds the costs. For example, in nuclear energy now, so many nuclear, today they are saying more than solar, it is a nuclear which is cater to the energy needs of the future. And although that fear of atomic bomb is always there, and so many countries have it today. Like that, so here also I think digital technologies, there will be problems, but institutions have to rise. And that's again something which we cover in this book. The requirement for institutions to create mechanisms, governance structures, which will ensure that the negative side of technology does not become bigger than the positive side of technology. And that is the most important thing. Now, one last part on this is, earlier this model was very nice, what I said just now. The governments will create policies or governance frameworks to control the negative side. But with digital technologies, the speed of change is very fast. And policy always lags technology. So when technology is changing so fast and governments are not able to respond very fast, then there is a problem. And today, this is the problem that we are facing, that technology is changing rapidly, policy frameworks are trying to cope up, but yet remaining behind. And this transition, therefore, is the crucial period when we have to make sure that the negative side of technology does not overcome the positive side.
Yes, exactly. Every time, see, we used to say, get updated, you must be updated with technology and all. See, when you are talking with people over 40 or 50, so what are the three, if you are talking so specifically, what will you say, the three essential automation or technological skills that a human being should possess? What actually does mean about regarding this getting updated? What do you mean actually? Can you please tell me any three? Is it like learning how to give a prompt to ChatGPT, or making a poster out of a Canva? And what actually is it? എല്ലാവരും പറയുന്നുണ്ട് അപ്ഡേറ്റഡ് ആണെന്നുണ്ട്. എങ്ങനെയാണ് അപ്ഡേറ്റഡ് ആവേണ്ടത് ഈ ജനറേഷൻ?
അല്ല, അത് ഈ സ്പെസിഫിക് ആയിട്ട് ഒരു പ്രോംപ്റ്റ് എഴുതുന്നതോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ക്യാൻവയിൽ ഒരു ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ആസ്പെക്ട് ആണ്.
ഒരു ബിഗിന്നർ സാർ, ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം കഴിഞ്ഞ ഒരാൾ ഇറങ്ങി പോകുന്ന ഐ മസ്റ്റ് ബി അപ്ഡേറ്റഡ് എന്ന് ഒരാൾ ചിന്തിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, വാട്ട് മസ്റ്റ് ബി ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റെപ്പ് ഹി ഷുഡ്?
No, see, first of all, that's one. We can do it at two levels. ഒന്നൊരു മാക്രോ ലെവലിലും അടുത്തത് at മൈക്രോ ലെവൽ. What we said is at a micro level. സ്പെസിഫിക് ആയിട്ട് ഞാനൊരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ആയിട്ടൊരു ടൂൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയാണ് എന്നതിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ്. അത് ഒബ്വിയസ്ലി ആവശ്യമാണ്. കാര്യം ടൂൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കാതെ നമുക്ക് ഒന്നും മൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. പക്ഷെ അത് അത്ര വിഷമമുള്ള കാര്യമല്ല. You have enough and more information on that. But I think at a larger level, there is a societal shift which is happening. That is what people should be more aware and learn about it. അതെങ്ങനെയാണ്, ആ ചേഞ്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ കൂടുതൽ ആവശ്യമുള്ളത്. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ പോളിസി ഫ്രെയിംവർക്ക് ഇല്ല, ലീഗൽ ഫ്രെയിംവർക്ക് ഇല്ല. ഈ സമയത്ത് എനിക്ക് എന്തും ചെയ്യാം, എനിക്കൊരു ഡീഫേക്ക് ഉണ്ടാക്കി വിട്ടാൽ ആരും എന്നെ അറിയില്ല, ഇതുപോലെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ടല്ലോ. അതായത് എങ്ങനെ ടെക്നോളജി പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിക്കാം. ടെക്നോളജി ഇസ് ലൈക്ക് എ നൈഫ്, റൈറ്റ്? വെർ യു ഹോൾഡ് ഈസ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. സോ that is what I think people should be taught, learn. And how do you, every technology, how do you use it in a positive manner is something which മൈക്രോ ലെവലായിട്ട് അത് എങ്ങനെ ഒരു സാധനം ഉണ്ടാക്കുക, അപ്ഡേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളത് അതൊരു കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് പ്രോസസ് ആണ്. അതത്ര, and you have enough tools. AI itself will help you to learn about AI, right? So that way, that is that's not a big challenge, but the bigger challenge is അതിന്റെ ഒരു larger level മനസ്സിലാക്കുക എന്നതാണെന്നാണ് എനിക്ക് തോന്നിയിട്ടുള്ളത്.
Okay, ഈ automation എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ what actually is automation? Sir, same. What actually is automation and what is not automation? Can you tell me a myth about automation? എല്ലാവരും ഓട്ടോമേറ്റ് ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ആക്ച്വലി ആ വേർഡ് ഭയങ്കര കൺഫ്യൂസിങ് ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
So basically, if you look at machines automated human labor. So I was using my hands, I was using animal power to move, machines came and replaced that. Today I do a lot of jobs using my cognitive power.
Yes.
Not every job I don't use all amount of cognitive power. It varies. So such cognitive power jobs, the machines will replace.
Yes.
Lower level. Even the physical layer also. Even today also there are jobs where people are required. Highly skilled jobs people are required.
Yes, yes.
Same way in the cognitive jobs also higher levels people are required. Creative jobs are still people are required.
Yes.
Human relations people are required. So the automation is primarily the one which translate something which machine will do what human can do in a very routine manner.
Yes.
That's what we can say. And many of our services are very routinized.
Yes.
അതെല്ലാം ഓട്ടോമേറ്റഡ് ആവും. പക്ഷേ കുറച്ചും കൂടി ഹയർ ലെവലിലുള്ള സാധനങ്ങൾക്ക് you still require people.
Okay. Before moving to the audience question, I have one last question. Anyone of you can answer. Sir, we have heard about in an interview of Elon Musk, he said, in a few years, employment, going for a job will be optional. What people will do in that time? ജോലിക്ക് പോവാതെ അവർ പിന്നെ എന്തായിരിക്കും ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്? അവരെന്ത് ചെയ്യും?
I have an answer to, I have my way of looking at this. നമ്മളൊരു ഹിസ്റ്ററി എടുക്കാം. ഒരു വലിയ സമൂഹം ഒരേ ടൈപ്പ് ജോലി ചെയ്യും. അന്ന് കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാർ വേറെ ടൈപ്പ് ജോലി ചെയ്യും. ഈ ആൾക്കാർ എപ്പോഴും അവിടെ എത്താൻ വേണ്ടി ആഗ്രഹിക്കും. ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ ഒരുപാട് പേര് കൃഷിക്കാരായിരുന്നു. അവിടെ ഒന്നോ രണ്ടോ അധ്യാപകരുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഒന്നോ രണ്ടോ റിലീജിയസ് ലീഡേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ആ ജോലികളെ അന്ന് നമ്മൾ വലിയതായിട്ട് കണ്ടു. അവിടെ എത്തണമെന്ന് ഈ ആൾക്ക് ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ അത് ചെയ്യണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അയാൾക്ക് ഒരുപാട് സമയം വേണം. അതിനുവേണ്ടി പഠിക്കേണ്ട ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്, അതിന് സ്കൂളിൽ പോകേണ്ട ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അയാളുടെ ജീവിതം ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ഓട്ടോമേഷൻ അഗ്രികൾച്ചറിനെ ഓട്ടോമേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു, ഈ ഹാർഡ് ലേബറിനെ ഓട്ടോമേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു. അപ്പോൾ അവർക്ക് സ്കൂളിൽ പോകാൻ സമയം കിട്ടി. അപ്പോൾ അവർ അധ്യാപകരായി, അവർ മാനേജേഴ്സായി, അവർ ലീഡേഴ്സായി. ആ സമയത്തും മറ്റൊരു ഗ്രൂപ്പുണ്ട് അതിൻ്റെയും മുകളിലിരിക്കുന്നത്. For example, I wanted to become a mentalist, but I cannot do it because I don't have a time to study that, right? It is a huge work.
Yes.
പക്ഷെ എനിക്ക് ആവണമെന്ന് ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്. കാരണം എനിക്ക് ആവണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ എൻ്റെ ഇന്നത്തെ ജോലി കൊണ്ട് എനിക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. പക്ഷെ when AI comes and gives me time, I will start learning that, no? I will start learning many. ഇന്ന് വളരെ കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാർ മാത്രം ചെയ്യുന്ന ക്രിയേറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ആൾക്കാർ ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്യും. So and the routine jobs, machine will take it, and then we may find out something more than that.
Yes.
So that is my feeling that, and remember when a automobile came in, people said that ഈ സമയത്ത് കാളവണ്ടിക്കാർക്കും കുതിരവണ്ടിക്കാർക്കും ജോലി പോകും, അവരെല്ലാം എന്ത് ചെയ്യും, അവരെല്ലാം ഇനി വെറുതെ ആയി പോവില്ലേ. പക്ഷേ that created a large number of drivers jobs, right?
Yes, yes.
Tomorrow when autonomous cars comes, these people will find something else.
Yes,
much more, maybe that jobs are still not been recognized. പ്രോംപ്റ്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ എന്നൊരു ജോബ് നമുക്ക് 5 കൊല്ലം മുമ്പ് അറിയത്തോലും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രോംപ്റ്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയേഴ്സ് ആയിട്ട് എത്രയോ പേര് ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. സോ മൈ ഫീലിംഗ് ഈസ് ദാറ്റ് ക്രിയേറ്റീവ് ജോബ്സ് വിൽ കം. സെക്കൻഡ്, ന്യൂവർ ടൈപ്പ് ഓഫ് opportunities will come, and that is something which we need to actually continuously innovate.
Yes, exactly. You have, yes, please.
No, I agree with Professor Saji Gopinath sir has said. I just want to make a small distinction. We have to divide this problem into two parts. The first part is for the next 5 to 10 years, where I think the opportunity is for a country like India or a place like Kerala is to use technology to continuously increase its productivity and economic growth. Next 10 years, I don't think we have a challenge because we will continuously take advantage of technology in different ways, whether it is agriculture, whether it is education, whether it is healthcare, because we can leapfrog using technology to where developed countries are. And 10 years is just indicative. It could be 8 years or 15 years. It could be whatever. But after that, we get into this real situation which Elon Musk is talking about, where he says that there will be abundance for everyone. You will have robots doing everything that you want to do. And then what happens? I think that is a time where we are looking at a major structural change in the society when that happens. It is the present system and orders will not remain the same, cannot remain the same. Because one, there is so much of abundant time with people. Second is, look at production. Production has two major components, any productive activity. One is technology, second is people. Both of them will be substituted by technology or AI. Now, when this is available with everyone, then you will have a lot to do. Third is, if you look at it, which is very dangerous, is the concentration. We talked about it in the beginning. The concentration of powers will further get skewed. Fourth is time. The time that we take to do things manually and the time the machine will take to do things will change. So I think all in all, this is going to create a huge disruption in society. And I think a very important part of thereafter, this could lead to major challenges to, and this is one of the things which a lot of people are talking about in AI is that this could lead to end of the world. I do not subscribe to that view. Because, I think one of the most powerful thing about human beings is their survival instinct. We have survived all challenges. We have found solutions to every problem that has come. And therefore, in my mind, as Professor Saji Gopinath said, I think humans will do new things. And this is what Elon Musk has also said. He doesn't say it in the same way which I am saying, but he said, look, I am doing SpaceX because I think the humans cannot exist on Earth alone. Earth is a very small, minuscule part of the larger universe. And if life was to get threatened here, humans have to have presence elsewhere, on Mars, on Moon, on other star systems. And who will solve that? AI cannot solve it because there's no data on that. AI can only solve problems for which it has data. So problems for which today going under the sea, today we are talking of huge amount of wealth under the sea. AI cannot solve it because there is no data on it yet. So I think in my mind, humans will be involved increasingly in areas which don't have data. Anything on which we have data will slowly keep going to the machines, and anything which we don't have data will continue to remain the frontiers of human challenge. Our education will have to be focused on that. Our next frontier challenges, problems which seem impossible in today's capability set will start becoming accessible to humankind.
Clear, sir.
I work in a AI firm. So one thing I found is that in India, we are only talking about LLMs, creations of digital. We are not talking about AI infrastructure. So we are producing 20% of data, but we hardly have 3% of data centers. We don't have energy data center, energy power professionals as per the requirement. Even though government is promoting it, we don't have that much of data centers coming up. So how do you solve this? So we are only growing in one sector. It's kind of unbalanced world.
I'm happy to sit with you after this. I have not understood this energy problem very well. The total data center energy requirement in the country is 900 megawatts, less than 1 gigawatt. This is the installed capacity of data centers in India today. I'll come to that. The total energy requirement in the world is 60 gigawatt. That's all. The installed capacity, power capacity in India is 150 gigawatt today, and going to 400 gigawatt by 2032 or something like that in the next few years. So what are we talking? I mean, we can have all, today our most ambitious plans in India is to go from 900 megawatts to 4 gigawatts in the next 5 years. So if 4 gigawatt in even with compare and actual demand is 50% of that. We don't consume the installed capacity most of the time. So 150 gigawatt we have today growing all the time. I don't think energy is going to be such a challenge. Water possibly could be, not because we have less water, because we have skewed distribution of water sources in the country. So as long as we are able to manage, just to give you a sense, our daily consumption of water in the country is about 18,000 billion liters per day. And that for data center is few billion liters per day. So we are, our resources and this thing are far too varied. I don't think we need to worry. The question we really need to do is, India produces 20% of data of the world, and we have 1% of the data center capacity, which means most of our data is actually being utilized by other companies who are making trillions out of our data, but we are not able to monetize it. So the larger question to my mind is, how do we ensure that this data remains in India and we are able to create value for our people?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shilpa, and I'm a first-year student of Functional English and Psychology from Devagiri College. So my question is, from a very basic human level, I'm someone who struggles with using the new technology because I don't know where to draw that boundary. So my question is, when I'm using a phone, there is an attention engineer who is having a bigger brain than me sitting behind and controlling and conditioning
Can you
my
please conclude? We have limited
yeah,
time. Yes.
conditioning me. So, do you think there is a human quality that technology can never beat so that we can overcome this problem of being conditioned by attention engineers?
And you can conclude.
What you're saying is that your life or your work is actually been conditioned by the technology. That's what I understood, right? Someone, maybe an engineer is primarily trying to drive what you wanted to do. Your technology will basically drive you. But that's basically the way you use the technology. In fact, one of the learning for the technology always is an icing of a cake. You have a cake. You need to know how to make the cake. So how technology being used is something which we need to learn. And in that case, the people who develop technology give you a lot of designs. You need to know how to select the right design asset, which is aligned with what we require. So read a purpose and align the technology on that. And again, that is primarily what when in a newer world is also. When in a world of abundance, we have choices.
Yes.
We never had a choices in a world of shortages.
Scarcity.
The moment you have a world of choices, the maturity of people to take the choices becomes important. Yes. People used to say that managing a poverty is much more easier than managing prosperity.
Yes.
And that is what we are getting into. And we need to really see how we do it in a better way.
Yes. Thank you, sir. And we are concluding the session. So, definitely, automation, digital transformation, everything, it's bringing surplus, but we can have the meaning only if we have a purpose for that, right? So, we are concluding. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, audience.